IVM.
News Kids on the Block. We bring to you stories that top the nation's papers. Fresh from the Ascend International School and IVM desk. Hi, I'm Kavya.
I'm Anya.
And I'm Trivik.
And welcome to this episode of News Kids on the Block, where we give you all the top news updates of the week. We shall start this episode off with an IPL story. Yes, IPL is back. We are picking up where we left off. Obviously, a few key players from the tournament are missing, but nevertheless, it is back. It kicked off on the 19th of September with CSK playing MI, and MI was beat by CSK.
CSK. Sorry,
Trivik,
guys,
is
I
that
don't
the
know
only
anything
team's name you
about-
know?
No, I know MI, I know Rajasthan Royals, I know the Kolkata King Riders.
Nice.
And then RCB played KKR it was a very low scoring match. And I think RCB scored something around in the 90s. They produced a very disappointing performance and were obviously beaten by KKR. The next match was RR versus Punjab Kings. Let's clarify, Punjab Kings have gone back to the red and gold uniform instead of the red and white jersey.
Kavya, why are you so excited about this?
Because I like the red and gold. And I remember when they changed, we had like a big piece about how they're changing their name and everything also.
You know, but can I be really honest? Like, I noticed this happening yesterday when I was watching the match. Punjab Kings always had the longest name, like Kings 11 Punjab, and then it was like KXIP, and then they changed it to Punjab Kings, which is really short. It's like hardly 3 syllables. And then they can just put PK everywhere, but they insist on putting PBKS, and I'm just like, why? Like, why?
Yeah,
what is
it's
the
true.
need to make this so long?
Well,
Yeah.
other Punjab Kings women's team called the Punjab Queens.
Trivik, do not bring up the women's IPL. Sore topic.
Does it exist?
Sorry, let's go back, guys. It was a very exciting match, PBKS versus RR. But in the end, it was RR that came out on top. And as we are recording this today, actually, DC are playing SRH, and we know the outcome soon. By the time this is out, you will know the outcome. Let's hope DC won.
No, you guys are in the future. You already know what happened.
1 second. Let's just do like a quick thing on DC as like a team. So as you know, Shreyas Iyer got injured last season as in last half part of the IPL. And so he wasn't there, and then Rishabh Pant was named captain, and now Shreyas Iyer is fit, which means he's there, but Pant is still going to be the captain. So honestly, DC is such a strong side now, and they've got Iyer back as well. I mean, they've got Ash, they've got Rabada, they've got Akshar Patel, they've got my buddy Pant, of course. How can we forget? And not to mention Shikhar Dhawan, Rahane, Steve Smith. So I think they're a really strong side, and they can really like give them
Dominate.
Exactly. I'm really rooting for DC and RR this time around. I think RR is also a really underrated team, which brings us to the next match.
Not gonna lie, Anya switches her team every 2 matches. But okay,
That's not true. I stay loyal to these 3 teams. I switch between
Sure.
these
You
three.
can't have more than one team in a sport. What?
okay, guys, stop. And a little bit of interesting news from the cricket world. Virat Kohli announced that after the T20 World Cup, which will happen in October and November, he will be stepping down as the T20 captain of India, which obviously came as a huge shock to the fans and to everyone in the world of cricket. To pile on to that, though, he then announced that after this season of IPL that is ongoing, he will also be stepping down as the RCB captain. And let's be clear, he has been the captain of RCB since 2013. That is 9 years of captaincy, which is no joke. He released a video message that stated the reason behind his decision was his immense workload, which had grown a lot over the last few years. Obviously, RCB has not been the most successful team under his leadership or ever, let's be honest. But even though he's not retiring, it's sort of like an end of an era almost. But something he made very clear in this message was that as long as he's going to be playing in the IPL, he will always be with RCB and no other team. But he will continue to be the ODI and Test captain for India.
You know, honestly, I think this is such a great decision on Virat Kohli's part because it just shows a lot of maturity to understand, and it's evident that to Kohli, being the best batsman he can possibly be and possibly even in the world is something that's important to him. So the fact that he's prioritizing that and stepping aside from these roles, I mean, clearly there's a tremendous amount of pressure on him. I think that makes the Indian side a whole lot better because his focus is a little more structured now, and he can just work on himself. And I think that's so important for anybody in any field. With that, we're going to our next story, which that comes all the way from Canada, which is somewhere above the United States, geographically speaking. Justin Trudeau is going to be holding the Prime Minister's post. This is now his 3rd term. He actually called for a snap election last month, which was in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. So not ideal, kind of questionable. But anywho, he won and he's got a third term now. And if anything, the election was actually a bit of a loss for him because he called for it. And then his party, which is the Liberal Party, lost a bunch of seats. So now they're the minority party. But for the most part, this is great news. A lot of news channels categorize this as the good of all evil because the other options were apparently evil. You can't quote me on that. But under Justin Trudeau, a lot of great things have happened. He has really pioneered the way for policy regarding women's rights, as well as successfully managing COVID-19 for the most part. He's done a lot of work with economic and environmental laws, as well as immigration. And of course, most famously or infamously, he legalized cannabis nationwide. So fun times for him, and hopefully they shall continue on for Canada.
And with that, let's take a short break. We will see you in a minute.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood,
Get accustomed to womanhood.
enjoy the experience of sisterhood,
Might get to wifehood
or not, choose motherhood,
or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
earn a livelihood,
Change the neighborhood.
and get rid of the falsehood that life post-academia is easy.
So join me, Ritasha,
And me, Ayushi,
on a journey from station starting point.
to station, what now?
Next station, Pudin station, and hopefully Agla station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.
Welcome back. You're listening to News Kids on the Block. And I'll hand it over to Trivik for a very interesting and inspiring story.
Thanks, Kavya, for passing me the spotlight. And today's story is it's a pretty sad one, I'd say. But it's about this story is coming out of Afghanistan, and it's about since the Taliban enforced a takeover in Afghanistan and subsequently also enforced a multitude of restrictions on the women inhabitants of the Central South Asian country, one of which was not allowing close to all Afghanistani girls they're not allowing them to return to school. And while some boys around the country have continued to return to their place of education, other boys have actually decided to stand in solidarity of their female counterparts and have said that Ruhula, who is an 18-year-old student in class 12, said, and I quote, "Women make up half the society. I will not show up at school until girls' schools are open too." And while this is a sad situation, I think it's really great to see how everyone is how boys are coming to defend the girls, because this is definitely not something we've seen in Afghanistan previously. And I think that the people of Afghanistan trying to take a stand against this is actually it's rather inspiring, and I think it's the first step towards overcoming these boundaries set by the Taliban.
I completely agree with you, Trivik. I think while this is a sad story, it does have a very inspiring and exciting aspect to it in terms of young people standing up for what they believe in and standing up to help other people who aren't getting the same rights that they are. And I think even though direct change might not be made, in a way they are influencing and creating change for the better, which is really nice to see.
Okay, Kavya, I'll pass, since you so graciously passed me the story after the break, I will pass it back to you. I heard you wanted to talk to us about the UK.
Thanks, Trivik. Indeed, I would like to take you from Afghanistan to the UK. So on Wednesday, the UK added the Covishield vaccine to the list of approved vaccines people can have in order to travel to the UK. However, there is a lot of confusion over the UK government's vaccine recognition process for travelers from India. Because even though the Covishield vaccine is on the updated international travel advisory, India as a country is still not yet on that list of 17 approved countries, which means that Indians that travel to the UK still have to quarantine for 10 days, even if they have both doses of the Covishield vaccine. In turn, that also tells us that the UK does not recognize the COVID certificate. And what I think is really bizarre is that the UK trusts handwritten vaccine certificates from the US, but not a QR coded digitally verified certificate from India, which is really hypocritical. With that, we shall take a short break and we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On The Habit Coach, Ashton speaks with Ken Honda, Zen millionaire and best-selling author in Japan. His new book, Happy Money, The Japanese Art of Making Peace with Your Money, teaches us how to improve our relationship with money. On Cyrus Says, founder and CEO of Finway, Rachit Chawla joins Cyrus to share some great financial advice on low-risk and no-risk yields. In the current power vacuum that exists in Afghanistan, will Russia step in? On all things policy, Aditya and Ruturaj seek the opinion of Ivan Klesch. On The Habit Coach, Ashton chalks out the differences between a workaholic and a high performer. And on Smarter with Sid, Siddharth analyzes if the back-to-theater experience will change consumer behavior and attention span. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. That is the most helpful thing that you could do to help us out. And finally, this week, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network, Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quarter, CoinSwitch, Kuber, and Intel vPro. We really do appreciate the support. This is what makes it possible.
Welcome back. You're listening to News Kids on the Block. Trivik has a really interesting story about climate change, and I just wanted to point out that he's done 2 consecutive climate change stories in 2 weeks. You can check out the previous one on our 12th episode of News Kids on the Block.
Cheeky little promo from Kavya there, but she is right. I have recently taken to talking about climate change because I'm noticing nowadays how much of a problem it is. In the past, I have disregarded it, and that was obviously not, was not the right thing for me to do. But recently, I have began to educate myself on it. And the story about climate change that I have for you this week, we only have a couple of weeks remaining until the UN climate conference, which will take place in Glasgow. And Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, made a statement on Tuesday, which is the 21st of September. And Mr. Guterres said that the climate alarm bells are officially ringing at fever pitch and that the UN are seemingly light years away from reaching the goals set out to combat climate change. Guterres told world leaders at the hybrid event, where leaders including US President Joe Biden and Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro are speaking in person, but others will appear by video. We must get serious and we must act fast. So I think that climate change is definitely a big problem in the world, and we haven't given it as much attention as it deserves in the past few years due to the COVID pandemic, which is, I guess, somewhat understandable. But I think that we can't keep putting this off. And if we as the planet need to take action against climate change as soon as possible, because it's no longer climate change, it's now a climate crisis.
I think that as a whole, the climate crisis is something that we just don't talk about enough. We don't see it enough in the world around us. And as a result of that, we don't acknowledge its importance, but we should. And I think that as the next generation, it's really important that we make those steps, however small they might be, to trying to acknowledge that and to trying to potentially bridge the gap. With that, we'll go into our last story of the day, which comes from the capital of India, also known as Delhi. The Delhi government launched this music bus, which is going to be going around various low-income schools and teaching over at least 5,000 students in the arts. So creating an educational portfolio that includes something like audio-visual understanding, music, even graphic designing. And this bus will have a recording studio in it. It'll have a classroom in it. It also has a TV that can show videos. And I think that this is so great to see that the government has taken some time and some effort to talk about the arts and to provide a space for the arts within a curriculum, because there's just so much emphasis on everything except for them. The arts are looked down on, and the role that they can play in a student's life is absolutely life-changing because of just the sheer impact that they can have on the way you think, understand, reason. And I can say this with experience. So I was so happy to see that they have this initiative. They'll also be having monthly workshops to talk about socio-emotional learning and well-being. So some very exciting news, and hopefully this goes countrywide and beyond just 5,000 students. It goes to all the students across the world and across India, more importantly, because it's just so important.
Anyways, that's all we have for you today. We hope you enjoyed this episode of News Kids on the Block. Don't forget to tune in to us every Friday for our fresh take on the news from across the globe.
If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other podcasts on the IVM network.
You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram.
We'll see you next week. But till then, do share this episode with your folks. Stay safe. And don't forget to do your homework.
Have you ever wondered where the business world is headed? How the ways in which we create, market, and sell to consumers will evolve? Or if we'll ever go back to wearing pants while working? For answers to all of this and more, tune into Advertising is Dead with me, Varun Dugirala. Every Tuesday, as I talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers from across business, media, marketing, and beyond. You can catch all episodes of Advertising is Dead on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from.
If you're a cricket fan, check out Edges and Sledges, India's favorite cricket podcast.
The podcast focuses on Indian cricket, the IPL, and has a ton of banter both on and off the field.
We talk about the week's biggest cricket stories with current and ex-international cricketers, coaches, or sometimes just between us.
And it's hosted by me, DJ.
Me, Varun.
And me, Ashwin.
New episodes release every week.
You can catch us on the IVM Podcast's website, app,
or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast.